Wild week for the Texans. They didn't even play, but they do in a week. And oh my gosh, how things can change. Post week, locker room edition, localized. Let's go.
Yeah, it's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localized. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localized every time. Can't stop. Won't stop.
What a wild week it was, and the Texans did not even play. It is the locker room #1 source for Texans digital content. We do this every Monday, the post-week outlook localized of the Houston Texans, where they sit compared to the rest of the league, the opportunity in front, all of that. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video, the best sports app in the game. I know a lot of people have wondered, okay, can I really change my sports app after all this time using other ones? It's easy. It's the best. Just hit a higher lower as well with the Caleb Williams and the Debo Samuel. So we're looking good when it comes to Sleeper. If you've been hesitant or reluctant to do it, right now you can get a $20 free entry. No deposit needed. You can play higher, lower. Very simple. You say this guy's going to throw for more yards, higher or lower. It's really that simple. You can do as many as two guys. You can do as few as two guys, and it goes up. It's a way to go. You can also get 100% match up to $100 when you use that promo code Locker. And I strongly suggest follow all the Sleeper social medias. They're the most entertaining, from the college one to the pro one, and play that. You will not regret it. It will be your go-to sports app. I can 100% promise you that. So shout out to them for doing what they do. Texans did not play this week. And sometimes you get to where the Texans, you feel lost about them, and then sometimes they just kind of reel you in, and you wonder, is there a chance that they can turn this thing around? I think this week is as big of an opportunity to flip around a start to a season. And if you look at the rest of the league and where everyone's at, not even looking at the division yet, but it looks like you're definitely going to have a winning record. So that's step one. Step one is get up to 500. Step two is get a winning record. And then on the back end, you get the Colts. But if you look at where the rest of the league is right now, there are 7 teams in the NFL, in the AFC, which is where we'll look, that have a winning record. There's 2 one-loss teams, the Colts and the Steelers, and then there's 5 two-loss teams. And we saw the Buffalo Bills lose today. So if you're going to start making stuff interesting, you're going to have to start winning games, and you're going to have to start beating good teams, which the Texans have not. Seattle's a good team. Seattle just dominated in the trenches. They dominated the Jags. Seattle's also a very, 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 very tough place to play. We know that. Last time the Texans were there, ended up losing on a last-second touchdown from Jimmy Graham. That's how long it's been for them to be there. So that's where you're at. And if you win this game, you improve to 3-3. And then if you look at it this way, you're 1 loss behind 5 teams. You're one loss behind the 5 teams that you're chasing. Right now, Indianapolis, you don't worry about Indianapolis right now. And we'll get to what the feeling is about Indianapolis, because I think it's very split. But if you get up to 500 and then you have those 3 home games, it can get real interesting real quick. It can get real interesting real quick for the Texans. Now, if you fall to 2-4, you just continue to kind of tread water and hope that you figure some stuff out. The loss total to look at, to where the playoffs are kind of shot, you can maybe get in at 9-8, but you probably want to be 10-7, which is what they've been the last 2 years. So if you already have 4 of those losses in your first 6 games and the schedule is going to get tougher, are you really going to think that this team is capable of making noise like this? This win in Seattle would be as big as it gets. And it's going to be a wild one too. I don't know how some of y'all handle the nightlife. I'm a night owl. I'm a big time night owl. So I like to sleep in the day, and then I'll stay up at night. I'll take a nap, and then
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
And I'll stay up. That's why the show's at 10:30. Show's at 10:30 because I might have plans. I want to do it consistent. But I can stay up late. I can go cover a practice at 9 a.m. They don't practice till 12:45. But that's just kind of what I do. Post-game show next week will likely be around midnight. And then we'll take it up to probably 1:32. Wake up on SNL. Reaction Monday presented by TDECU. We'll be on there and we'll just keep it rolling. But I'm really excited about the night game. And that's one of the reasons why the NFL is so popular, is because they basically eliminated time zones. If you think about it, there's the number one reason why the NFL is so popular is because of magnitude. Like, every game matters. It's week to week. It's a build up. You get in a routine, especially here where we do this on Monday, and then, Tuesday's the off day usually, but you push it back. But like, they've eliminated time zones. Think about it. NBA, MLB, a lot of times you're playing at 9:00 for an extended period of time. Or if you're a West Coaster, you're having to play early, which is 6:00, which is pretty much 4:00 your time. That's baseball and basketball. Football, Monday, more times than night, you're going to play around 7:30. Thursday, you're going to play around that time, 7:15, 7:30. Sprinkle in a London game here or there at 8, and then you're playing at noon or 3 our time. You don't really have to worry about that. So I'm actually just looking forward to the unique experience of it. I wouldn't want to get used to it. I mean, I like night, but I also like my 12, 3, 7:30 routine on Sundays. But this is going to be a wild night. I don't know what y'all's plans are. I don't know if some of y'all work nights, so maybe you can watch it before you go in. But we really don't. We have multiple types of viewers and listeners here. But for me, I think this is going to be really fun. So I look forward to this late night game. We'll get to some stuff that went on around the division in a sec. First, let's go to the soup. You ain't never hate. Swarm. Poor boy Jay says, is it going to be cold and rainy in Seattle when we play them? If so, is that going to affect us, and how much? All right, so it's interesting you asked that. So let's just look up the weather together. So the weather in Seattle, if we go ahead to it says it's going to be just partly cloudy, 57, 48, clear. Now, hypothetically, if it was a rainy, cold game, I think it would help. Both defenses are pretty good in the trenches. Seattle actually, against Trevor Lawrence, it was a pretty rough performance for Trevor Lawrence. So if you look at what the stats were, and they were going all over the place. Trevor Lawrence was pressured 27 of his 50 dropbacks. So 54% he was pressured. That was the most pressures a QB has faced in a game since 2022, when the Titans pressured Mahomes 28 times in week 9. I feel like the Texans do that all the time, though. I feel like that's just a normal Texans game. But that was how much he got pressured. So you also want to know, can a team run the ball? When you're looking at if that's the type of weather. Seattle's not running the ball at a really high rate. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he just passed Puka for the most receiving yards. He's in front of him by 80, and Puka did get nicked up. But Seattle's offense, as far as running the ball, it's kind of a cluster backfield. Now it's probably a better duo than what the Texans have. But them rushing the ball, Seattle, they're near the bottom. They have the 10th worst at 104.2 per game. Texans aren't much better. They have 116, but that's closer to the middle. So it's not, you're not facing a team that's that good running the ball. I do feel like they have potential to run the ball better than they have. But the strength of Seattle is a matchup that I really, 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 really look forward to. And I just hope that D'Amico Ryans makes it happen. Before we get into that, though, let's shout out the greatness that is TDECU. TDECU sponsors Reaction Monday. They sponsor SNL. They sponsor CJ Stroud. We got a question about CJ Stroud on the chat that we'll get to in a second. But if you want to rock a CJ Stroud jersey, you want to rock any Texans jersey, you want to upgrade your gear and represent the TDECU Texans debit card, you can save 15% at the Texans online team shop. Anything you want, no matter your look, 15% off. Show your Texans pride, score savings while doing it. Visit tdecu.org/Texans. Get your card today. Membership is required, insured by NCUA. We've gotten a lot of feedback from viewers that have taken advantage of that. Speaking of CJ Stroud, on the chat, Evan brings up the Ohio State thing.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm says CJ did play in Ohio. That's a different cold. How was he in cold weather? I know he never beat Michigan. That's cold as it gets, and that's a good one. He didn't have bad games though. But yeah, trust me, I think CJ Stroud and cold weather are done. He does not like it. Did you not watch? You've seen him play against Baltimore. You've seen him like late in the season. It does not seem like Kansas City last year. He did all right, but I don't think he loves cold weather. He's a California kid who spent 2 years in Ohio, and he's spent more time in Texas than he has Ohio. So I don't think he's a big cold weather guy, regardless of what the hell he did up there. Poor boy Jay says, how do we localize Buffalo losing to Atlanta tonight? I think it just kind of shows you that the two best teams in the league right now that have one loss, you feel like they're pretty beatable. I mean, it does feel like even people who are higher on the Colts like me, like I'm not sitting here saying that they're unbeatable. I think Indianapolis right now, the thing that scares me about the Colts is they have the best running back in the league, and Bijan might have something to say about that. They have one of the best, most physical running backs in the league, and they might have the best tight end in the league. I think the Colts are somewhat of a problem. They got a bend-don't-break defense, which is a lot easier to do with the schedule that they faced. They give up a decent amount of yards, and they give up a few points, which is sometimes a good sign of a well-coached team, and I like their defensive coordinator a lot. I don't know why Cincinnati wasn't a little bit more patient with him, although it was bad last year. But I think the Colts are legit. I think they're legit. Anything can happen on with the Colts, but I think that they might be getting better. Well, they should though, because the schedule is going to get a little bit better. Buffalo's got some weird problems right now. If you ask me about who I think is like the biggest problem, like of the elite, I think Kansas City's about to flip the switch. I've been saying this all season long. Once they get Rice back and they got Hollywood doing what he's doing, they got Xavier Worthy. It feels like Pacheco's getting in a little bit more of a groove. Their defense is still ready to knuckle up in any situation, despite the fact they didn't get off to the best start. I would be the most concerned about the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is about to. I took the Patrick Mahomes MVP bet 2 weeks ago. He started running. You know, Patrick Mahomes is top 30 in the league in rushing. I think Nick Chubb leads the Texans, and he's got like 40 more yards than Patrick Mahomes. Like Patrick Mahomes has kind of added something to his game, and that's kind of where you evolve. It's kind of where you evolve, and that's how you win multiple championships. You win them different ways. Like it didn't always look the same when Tom Brady was winning ships or going to Super Bowls. If you don't evolve and you don't figure out how to win multiple ways, eventually that window is going to close. And a lot of times you never get through the window even once. I think that's what's going on with Buffalo right now. Buffalo was banged up, but we've seen them banged up. For some reason, those defensive coordinators that run that type of defense, I saw DJ Bieneme tweet this out. I thought it was a great point. For some reason, like the Robert Saleh, the D'Amico Ryans, and the Raheem Morris, the guys that run that type of defense, for some reason, Josh Allen has problems with them. Like, and the other thing about Buffalo is they got it. New England, like for how we're talking about the Colts, I know there's a lot of hesitancy. New England is no joke right now. New England is no joke right now for them. So Buffalo, I think they went from a team that you thought was just going to try to take the next step. Right now, it looks like they've kind of regressed, and we'll see what they look like down the stretch. But they feel a lot more one-dimensional than they should. The other thing that they don't do that I don't get is I don't know why James Cook stopped being a receiving threat for them. I think he's a great running back. I wanted James Cook in the draft where the Texans took Mechie, but receiving was always like one of his strengths. And now for some reason, he went from being kind of a given that they would throw the ball to more often to where if you look at like the props and like what he's predicted to catch, like it's like 2 balls a game. That should be a given. For some reason, they've stopped throwing it to him. I don't really understand it. Poor boy Jay on the soup again. Is there any way to localize the Bears barely beating Washington? I like these challenges. I would say like if you wanted to localize the Bears beating Washington, I would say that the Ben Johnson impact you're kind of seeing. Like you're seeing Ben Johnson kind of find his form and get a little bit more comfortable in the new role. I know he's always called plays with the Lions, but it feels like he's getting a little bit comfortable. It also feels like Caleb Williams, and I know CJ's in year 3 and Caleb Williams is in year 2. It feels like he's getting a little bit more comfortable. And the other thing that I'll say is it does look like the young receiver, specifically Adunze, it feels like after kind of a sluggish-ish start, and he was obviously banged up, feels like he's finding his groove. So if the Texans maybe can get ahead of schedule and start getting Stroud comfortable with his young guys, then this guy could be the limit for them. But both of those teams, very finesse. Team player says Jets are dead. Full pursuit, Breece Hall. Hey, I think Breece Hall would be a good trade target. I think the Texans should consider it. I think the Jets are an absolute dumpster fire. It's not good at all. Ooh, this is something no one's talking about, Kevin. The Case Keenum effect.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
The Case Keenum effect for Caleb Williams. He looked lost, and now he's got now he's there, and it's the Case Keenum effect. El Lobo 2 says, why trade for Hall? We can draft a dude next year. Fuck that. I would trade for him and draft a guy. I'm a draft a multiple back guy. So I'm not one of these guys. I trade for him because I think he would be your best back this year. I also don't think Joe Mixon is coming back. And I don't know, and I think they're thin at running back. I think just rolling with Chubb and Woody for the entire season, first of all, it's not overly effective.
Chubb and Woody.
And second of all, I think you bring him in. He's immediately your best back now, might be your best back next year, and then you can sprinkle it in. I'm drafting multiple backs. That's me. But yeah, I would I would definitely make that move for Breece Hall. Primetime asked, am I saying Joe Mixon not come back this season? Why would you want a 30-year-old who's coming off a lower body injury? Why would you want that? It doesn't seem to make sense. Yeah, I always want to draft multiple bucks. You know who I wanted this year that the Chiefs are going to start using now? We're going to see him make plays in the playoffs. I wanted Brashard Smith. I wanted a back, and then I wanted Brashard Smith. They got him in like the 7th, and they're using him like receiver every once in a while. Yeah, I'm on the back. The Joe Mixon thing, I don't know. Like, if Joe Mixon doesn't play this year, you want to bring him back next year for what? To be 30, coming off an injury. Some people don't even want to sign 30-year-old running backs. If he doesn't come back this year, and Casario's already put it back a month, what do you think he's going to do next year? What's your vision of that? What do you think that looks like? How many 30-year-old backs come back from a lower body injury? Doesn't seem like that happens very much at all. Other news in the NFL, we got the Jags. We kind of know what they are, don't we? The Jags, they're good, but they can also be really bad. And it's a very inconsistent squad. Now, I will say the Texans in 3 weeks, if they don't beat the Jags, then it's as close to a must-win this early as you could possibly have, because you can't lose twice to a team in the division that you're probably going to be around the same range when it comes to wins and losses. So the Jags, you kind of know what they are, but you have to reel them back in. You can't lose twice to Jacksonville. That's the must win of the stretch. And it'll be home game 3 of that stretch. Probably the easiest one, maybe. Nah, San Francisco's pretty banged up. But the Jags, we got a decent idea of what they are. There's no doubt about that. Shout out to Texans Turf. There's also no doubt that Texans Turf is my favorite thing about my home. I was just back there a short while ago. I was sitting back. I was overlooking the lovely weather. It's starting to cool off, and I was looking down at the fire pit that I have that Dan and his team customized to put the turf around. That's what they do. I was also looking down at the drainage. It's lovely. Anytime it rains, anytime you normally, a lot of people with backyards, you got the mud and stuff. I don't. It's gone immediately because Dan and his team took care of me. And I wanted turf. I was almost going to give up, but I'm glad that I went with one more phone call. And Texas Turf came out here and they took care of me. And I'm very happy that I did it. I'm very happy for the many viewers, many listeners, subscribers that have done the exact same thing, because I was a customer before they started doing work with us. And I am very happy that I did that. Be on the lookout at the post-game show on Monday. We will have the Texans Kings of the Turf. We'll also have that on Tuesday as well. And if you want to get in the game, trust me, it is very much worth it. You'll very much love it. Always green, always clean. Putting greens, player is all that. Texans Turf is the best. Promise you. No doubt about it. Do I think the Texans can get rolling with a streak? Yeah, a streak of wins? Yeah. I mean, I think it starts with Seattle, and then you got those 3 home games. They have to. If they don't, then it's going to be perhaps a long season. But yeah, I do. I think it's laid out decently. I think Seattle's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a really tough game. But yeah, I think they're good enough to. But this is going to be the make or break time. There's no doubt about that. Someone's asking what would the cost be for Breece Hall? I mean, you have an extra 4th. You have, it's not going to be a second. It's a rental. He's not re-signing with the Jets. Are the Jets going to franchise tag him? So no, I don't think. Realistic odds for the Seattle game, it's a 3-point spread right now. 3-point spread if you want to check that out. Other news, the Stanky one, Amy Adams Stank. How about this? So this woman fires Mike Vrabel. She does a scripted interview. And then when they fire the coach that she replaced with Vrabel, she's nowhere to be found. Here's Paul Kaharski grilling the Titans shot callers about this.
Right now.
Where? What do you mean?
Where's Amy Adams Strunk right now?
Yeah, she's at her home.
Why isn't she here?
I'm here representing her.
Can you guys move?
I'm representing her, huh? So the Titans fire Callahan. Now, I will say this. There is something that I kind of want to keep an eye on that I think would be, I don't know if nightmare is the wrong term for the Texans, but I don't think you want Kevin Stefanski to get fired in Cleveland and then end up in Tennessee in the division. I think Kevin Stefanski is a really good coach who's been in a really crappy situation. He's been coach of the year 2 times. Boy, Cleveland looks really dumb for getting rid of Baker Mayfield, by the way. But it looks really, really bad. Really, really bad. Amy Adams Stank's terrible. He's bad. Space Age is playing well, actually, guy. He says he didn't want to be there anyway. Why did he not want to be there? I mean, why did he not want to be there? Why do you think that is? Same thing. The Stanky one. Malik on the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
I like the confidence. I'm reading the first few words of this. He says, Colts not a threat at all. You're as good as the QB, and he will fold under pressure against the Rams, Bills, KC, Texans D. When Texans win this week, expect a streak. If they win this week, then it's laid out perfectly for you to get a streak. What did we say? We said 5-5 by week 11. You get real greedy if you get to 3-3. Especially with the home game, especially with where San Francisco is. Oh, Knicks looks bad. Doesn't look great. Looks like someone that D'Amico might be off. And then you got the Jags. So if the streak happens, cool. I would ask for like a definition of threat. Because the team is very QB friendly. They're not depending on Daniel Jones. They've also, Shane Steichen in his time as Indianapolis head coach has won, and I know we're talking like a couple more playoff games with the Texans, but he's won as many games. He's won more games than D'Amico has with CJ Stroud. He's won with Gardner Minshew, LaFar Jackson, aka Anthony Richardson, who, my God, can anyone have more foolish injuries than him? This is the same guy who got hurt dancing and had to miss a game at Florida. The ghost of Joe Flacco. I think Ellinger started a game. Like he's a good coach. It's kind of QB friendly, but for threat, like what do you mean the division? Like I don't think they're like. I wouldn't bet anything on them winning the Super Bowl, but they're a hell of a threat. They're a hell of a threat. They could easily split. Yeah, JT's carrying the team. Tyler Warren's becoming a mofo too, though. You can thank the Bears for that. Thank the Bears for that. Space Age says nobody's scared of Stefanski. Come on, dude. He's a good coach. Really good coach. There's 2 things. I talked about this earlier with Stoots. There's 2 things that I'm looking forward to in this game that I think will decide the Texans' fate. Speaking of Stoots, join us at Spanky's this Friday, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. to whenever. We've enjoyed getting to kick it with the peeps. We love what Spanky's has to offer. The pizza, the expanded menu, everything that goes down at Spanky's. We have the greatest appreciation for the Sharpstown location. We'll be out there Friday. We'll broadcast live. I think John McClain's going to be there. There's going to be a few people. So come on down and hang out at Spanky's this Friday. We'll also be back at Halloween as well. I think Jonathan Taylor has some help. I think Tyler Warren's a good player. But the two things that I'm looking forward to in this game, and this is going to be on D'Amico. Speaking of Kevin Stefanski, 2 years ago, when the Texans were taking on the Cleveland Browns, for whatever reason, D'Amico did not let Derek Stingley shadow Amari Cooper. And they ended up getting banged. The Texans ended up getting banged around big time. They ended up getting the last laugh. But you know what D'Amico did the second time around when they got that laugh? He put Derek Stingley on him. I wonder how they're going to handle Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's lining up all over the place. It's not just slot. He leads the league in receiving yards. He leads the league in catches with the ball going over 20 yards in the air. You do not want Jalen Petrie to, in any instance, be guarding Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know it's been good for Jalen Petrie, but even that 2-3 times that maybe this happens, it's not your typical slot guy. So I do wonder how D'Amico is going to approach the Jackson Smith and Jigba thing. Do we see Derek Stingley travel with him? How do we see it? Because this is one of those things where if you have number 5 lined up against the kid from Rockwall, Texas, it's not going to go well for you. So that will be interesting to see how D'Amico attacks that. You can make a case that he's really the only thing you have to worry about. I like Walker and Charbonnet as like a duo, kinda. I don't think they use it very much. I think if any of you have them on your fantasy teams, you're probably disgusted by it. But I also don't think the Texans are really that vulnerable to allowing those guys to get loose. Cooper Kupp's playing all right. He's lining up in the slot with JSN on the outside. I mean, you can get away with maybe that a little bit. But when you let that little mofo who CJ Stroud knows very well about, you let that dude line up on Petrie, that's not going to go very well. So I do wonder if Stingley follows him around and if they let that happen, because that they need to take him out of the game. The other one, we just saw the Trevor Lawrence stats. Can the offensive line hold up? Can the O-line hold up? They've held up a lot better than many of us have expected. They've been mediocre instead of god-awful. Most would say they've been better this year compared to last. But can the Texans' offensive line hold up? Seattle's got an underrated front. Can they hold up? Can you get by doing what they've been doing? Those are the two things that will be the keys. And then we'll see what happens with Nick Caley. What a nice end to the pre-buy for Nick Caley, because Nick Caley was the number one target, and Nick Caley now I don't know that anyone thinks he's good, but the heat has come off a little bit. Nick. You got to keep an eye on him too. This is going to be a big game. I'm pumped for it. I'm very excited to get ready for it with y'all. I think it's going to be an awesome time. We'll get some sleeper picks available when they drop, and be sure to take advantage of that special that they got, the $20 free entry. Some of you said that you took advantage of that. Do that. Get the 100% match by using that promo code Locker as well. I put one together. I went Flacco here. After I wanted just to say, you know what, I'm going to go Flacco Magic. A little Flacco Magic never hurt anyone. So we're going to say that Joe Flacco gets Higgins in the end zone, which I don't think has happened this year. We're going to say ETN under lower than half a touchdown. Flacco over 237.5 yards. And the man who said that the Steelers were coming to try to raw dog him, Jamar Chase, over 72.5. So this is the Joe Flacco turn back the clock. $5 wins about 24. So that's what I'm doing. You can play along as well. And the Texans, that should drop. Those numbers should drop probably in the next couple of days. So that's where I'm going with that. Also, as I said, going to Spanky's on Friday, and we'll hope to see you there. 3:00. Little shorter one today because nothing new has really happened. Enjoyed my time in Vegas. Shout out to everyone who watched the videos when they dropped and who watched SNL today with myself and Stoots. It's going to be a really, really fun time. Tomorrow, practice 12:45. I'll be there per the usual. We'll see what the players are saying. We'll hear what D'Amico has to say. He's not going to tell us if Stingley's going to go around with JSN. Maybe we can talk to Stingley and try to see if we can read between those lines. We'll always be on the scene. We'll always be covering this team. The bye week is over. Couldn't come at a better time. This is going to be one of the best damn games. Sign me up for the Night Owl Life. I'm going to take a nap next week. Probably going to wake up at 6, watch the first game, get ready for pregame. It's going to be fun. SNL 4:00. Reaction Monday now. It's game day. So we'll do a normal show probably at around 4. Then we'll have the post game and then normal reaction Monday time on Tuesday. Follow along. Got you covered. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone for coming through. We'll see what's going on in the Texans locker room tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room.